the government will consider the demand for the formation of Telangana state at an appropriate time for due consultation.
The common minimum program already spells out under this what we need to do in this regard. We need to consult all concerned, offer proper consultation. I think we are committed to the establishment of a state of Telangana.
September 1948, more than a year after India's independence, Telangana became free from centuries of feudal oppression. Carrying with it the dream of a better tomorrow, it began its journey towards a future free from poverty, unemployment and hunger. Previously a part of the Nizam's dominion, Telangana was an independent and surplus state for 8 long years, with Hyderabad as its capital, till the formation of Andhra Pradesh. Andhra, separated from the state of Madras, was also an independent state since 1953, with Kurnool as its capital. But soon after its inception, this resource-hungry state began clamoring for its merger with Telangana and for the formation of Vishal Andhra, a demand which Prime Minister Nehru said smacked of an expansionist imperialism. After centuries of marginalization, the people of Telangana, however, were not willing to surrender their lives and their resources once again. The State's Reorganization Commission of 1956 endorsed the Telangana people's fears of exploitation by the Andhras and recommended that Telangana remain a separate state. Yet, through political manipulation, Telangana was merged with Andhra to form Andhra Pradesh against the wishes of its people. A gentleman's agreement gave an assurance of fair play and a guarantee to safeguard the interests of the region. But 5 decades later, the reality today is that the state has defaulted on every one of the promises it made. With all the privileges, wealth and power gone into the hands of its elite partners, Telangana continues to starve, struggle and suffer even today. Two of India's mighty rivers, Krishna and Godavari, wind their way through Telangana, gathering more than 2/3 of their waters from here. The Hyderabad government during its regime had made an ambitious blueprint to harness these waters. It was imagined that irrigation projects on these rivers would take at least 70 lakh more acres into their fold and turn this arid and overexploited region into a green and prosperous one. But with the merger of the two states in 1956, the fate of Telangana got sealed forever. All the projects contemplated before the merger were abandoned. Those already in process came to a grinding halt, and the ones promised in the new setup are either yet to take off or remain eternally unfinished. For almost 50 years, the people of Telangana have waited silently for the water they believed was theirs, unaware that their land, water and projects would be taken away bit by bit, and even their age-old resources would be allowed to dry up, silt and decay. In Telangana, the area under surface irrigation has in fact shrunk by almost half, from 20 lakh acres in 1956 to just about 12 now. After all these years, the image of Telangana is very disquieting today. In its long alliance with Andhra, what Telangana has lost is hardly beyond anybody's imagination. In the Krishna waters, Telangana has a share of at least 550 TMC. But with Bhima, Kalvakurti, Nettampad, SLBC Tunnel Canal and Nagarjun Sagar Tail Pond pending for decades, it's barely able to use 100 TMC out of the 900 used up by the state. Almost 800 TMC is used up by the Andhra region. Srisailam and Nagarjun Sagar dams, the temples of modern India on river Krishna, had promised to give water in equal measure to both Andhra and Telangana. But even these so-called temples have turned into monuments of denial and exaction for the people of this region. While water flows to Andhra from the Srisailam project, Telangana continues to wait for its share in these waters. Promised decades ago, the Srisailam left bank tunnel canal is yet to surface. Nagarjun Sagar Dam, originally proposed at Aileshwaram, about 19 kilometers from the present site, would have given abundant water to Telangana. But soon after the merger it was moved downstream, leaving most of this region quite literally high and dry. And with further diversion of water for power generation, Telangana is starved of water even here. Godavari, the Ganges of the south, meanders through Telangana for almost 600 miles. Yet Sri Ram Sagar is the lone project on this mighty river. And even this project, grounded 40 years ago, is still in its first phase. Of the proposed 15 lakh acres, hardly 6 lakh are irrigated. The once land-owning farmers are landless laborers now. Almost 14 lakh people migrate from this district every year in search of work, leaving behind their families and their children to fate. Uncared and abandoned, some die of starvation. For centuries, tanks and ponds were the lifeline of Telangana. More than 1.5 lakh such water bodies once dotted this landscape, sometimes linked in a chain with provision for overflows from one to another. But this centuries-old heritage of water harvesting has almost gone. A willful and deliberate neglect of these resources has reduced the area under tank cultivation to less than 1/4 now. Deprived of surface water, the Telangana farmer had no option but to explore groundwater. But this overdependence on this subsoil resource has led to a situation where even at 700 feet, one is not sure of finding water, and certainly not before several attempts. The Telangana farmers have sunk more than 20,000 crores of rupees of their own money so far on borewells and pump sets, while the state subsidized the rest of Andhra by diverting surface water and maintaining their projects and canals out of the public fund. Mushampalli, a village in Nalgonda district, has more borewells than it has people. Almost 6,000 borewells were drilled in this one village, but only a few hundred work now, and even these when there are no power outages. Baira Ram Reddy, the villagers now call him Borewell Reddy, has sunk 56 bores. Of these, 49 have failed.
ఆ బోర్లు వేయటం ఒక రకంగా బాధ అనిపిస్తూనే ఉంది. వేయటం దండగా అనిపిస్తుంది. అయినా లోపల ఎక్కడో కొంత ఆశ, యాన్నో ఒక ఏమన్నా ఇంకో కాస్తిని పడతాయో అన్నట్టుగా.
The obsession with borewells is an optimism driven by despair. But it is also pushing many helpless farmers into a debt trap and a death trap. For every farmer who has lost his life, there are countless others who are in distress. Just another bad season could push many of these fragile lives over the edge.
గొంతులకు తాళ్ళు వేసుకొని ఉరి పెట్టుకొని సత్య కాలం వచ్చింది సారు. మేము బతకలేము, ఈ ఉరి పెట్టుకొని సత్య కాలం వచ్చింది సారు. మేము ఉండి కూడా లాభం లేదు, బతికి లాభం లేదు. నన్ను ముసల్లాన్ని ఇలా వారేసిండ్రు, కొత్తిలాకి ఇలా వారేసిండ్రు, పోయిండ్రు. పొట్ట చేతులు పట్టుకున్నారు, పోయిండ్రు.
The human tragedy in Telangana continues. Natural fluoride from deep down has now made its way into drinking water, crippling many for life. Thousands of villages with hand pumps as their only source of drinking water are reeling under fluorosis. And more than 2 lakh innocent people, mostly children, have fallen victim to this dreaded disease.
బోర్ల నీళ్లు తాగిన కాంచి మేము చాలా ఇబ్బందుల పాలవుతున్నాము. చిన్న చిన్నోళ్ళు, పెద్ద పెద్దోళ్ళు 40 ఏళ్ళ అయితే వయసు మీరిపోయినట్టుగా అయిపోతున్నారండి ఈ నీళ్ళ వలన.
Nalgonda, one of the worst fluoride-affected districts in Telangana, is the home of the Nagarjun Sagar reservoir. And yet, safe drinking water is a pipe dream for many. For the people of Telangana, however, the saga of denial and disadvantage doesn't end with river waters. It penetrates every aspect of their life. But the loss of educational and employment avenues were not just a loss of individual opportunities for the people, but of a collective dream of rebuilding their lives and their land. From the State Secretariat to the High Court, everywhere Telanganites have faced continuous rejection even from their share of opportunity. The Andhra Pradesh Secretariat accommodates just 8% of its workforce from this region, while the High Court, the very abode of justice, has not more than 20% people from here in its ranks. And sadly, not a single Telangana person in the last so many decades was ever allowed to grace the seat of the Advocate General, although they have been distinguishing themselves elsewhere. The recent appointments of mere 7 persons of Telangana origin among the 86 magisterial positions only goes to show that even today, the injustice continues. Suppressed for centuries, the people of Telangana were always a disadvantaged lot. Denial of education, social and cultural expression, and political access, all these had pushed them to the margins.